All right, Section 6. There are 16 activities concurrent with the project definition or request for proposal development. There are a number of activities that must be accomplished concurrently with the development of the project definition and the request for proposal. The effort to prepare with the installation, rapid reviews, recommendations selected for the design, build, or contract. Most of the activities centered around the preparation of the source selection evaluation team, the technical evaluation team, the source selection authority to evaluate the proposal for the being submitted with the result of the request for proposal to develop with the government with the request for proposal, architectural engineering. In addition, can be found with the Architecture Air Force FAR Supplementation A Fact 9244 Appendix BB of dated January 15, 1995. A. The people involved with the concurrent with the activities of the Air Force Program Manager. The Air Force Program Manager may serve only with the serve the function during the source selection with the process of the community rules included with the technical evaluation team chairperson. The Air Force Program has considered with experience with the technical evaluator. The Air Force Program will prepare the later appointment with the source selection authority. Signature they assign the people to various the source set terms. The C Appendix 47 the letter of appointment. The S set of example. The source selection evaluation team chairperson. The source selection evaluation team chairperson responsible for the organization conducting the source selection evaluation team. The chairperson usually is the senior person for the knowledgeable about the project requirements during the request for proposal preparation. Source selection evaluation team chairperson will recruit members of the advisory to select the source selection evaluation team, technical evaluation team, contracting evaluation team. According to this complexity of the project, they ensure the appointed of the members have been required time necessary to participate. Brief members of the source selection code of the contact design designate the chairperson for the appropriate with the structure of the technical evaluation team, review and approve the evaluation standards developed by the Air Force Program Manager, determine the technical together with the contracting officer whether the conduct of the proposals conference is the recommendation approval of the source selection plan with the source selection authority serve as the member of the solicitation review or source selection evaluation team that is responsible for the details of how evaluation will be conducted. Source selection authority. The source selection authority is responsible for managing the source selection process. It has the authority to make the source selection decision. The streamlined process the core contracting officer normally delegates the source selection authority for the installation of the unit commander. During the preparation of the request for proposal, the source selection authority will approve appointments of the source selection evaluation team chairperson, members, and advisory. Caution invalid all with the source selection process. The consequence of the unauthorized disclosure of the source selection information. Provide guidance instruction with the source selection evaluation team regarding source selection procedure and protocol. Review the approval source selection plan. The technical evaluation team. The technical evaluation team is responsible for evaluating the officer's technical approach proposed with the scheduled management plan. The technical evaluation team will vary in size based on the complexity of the acquisition. Minimum must include the two people with the representation of the user's office during the preparation of the request for proposal. The technical evaluation team member will establish the technical evaluation criteria. Contracting officers during preparation of request for proposal. Contracting officers will prepare required requests for the delegation, train source selection evaluation team members, and source selection process. B. Preparing the source selection plan. Source selection plans serve as the chart of selecting the design, build, and contracting should be prepared jointly with the contracting officer using the Air Force Program Manager, and the source selection should be prepared with the coordinated. But the request for proposal must be approved prior to the release of the solicitation. Source selection plan should mirror the information solicited in select sections L and M of the front end documentations. The purpose of the source selection plan is to describe the source selection organizational structure to designate the people who will perform the evaluation, describe the government approach for solicitation evaluation purposes, and establish evaluating factors, establishing source selection schedule. All right, your source selection plan outline, introduction, program overview, description, requirements, services 1, 2, source selection, organization structure, duty, sources, selection authority, and B, source selection evaluation team, C, level list of participation, organizational symbol. All right, 3, pre-solicitation activities. A, marketing service. B, drafting solicitation. C, solicitation review panel. B, listing prospective candidates. C, synopsis. D, solicitation preparation, release of the approval selection actions. 4, evaluation procedures. Approach, evaluation rating. Approach, government estimates. Overview, cost drivers. 5, insert selection M and information. B, import and cost and criteria, specific criteria and general consideration. 5, summary of acquisition strategy. A, type of contract. B, incentives. C, special clauses. 7, schedule of significant milestones. 8, non-government advisories. Introduction. The introduction should briefly describe the requirements for the design build project of the service being required, source selection and organizational structure structure of the selection should include the organizational chart, including the proposed source selection organization structure, responsibility of each of the position, identify key members, the name and the position title. Pre-solicitation activities. Selection should describe the activities leading up to the release of the solicitation, including the market of the survey, draft solicitation, synopsis, review panel, solicitation release meeting to discuss in the market survey how the government will generate the interest in the project and ensure the completion would also indicate whether the drafts and solicitation will be distributed to potential officers and if or not. Evaluation procedures. This section should describe the process will be used. The source selection evaluation team of the rate with the proposal. Describe what the specific evaluation factors will be selected. How the government cost estimate will be reported. Also describe the basis of developing proposal analysis report. Evaluation criteria. This section describes the evaluation factors, contracted award outlined with the specific areas the evaluation discussed, evaluation factors and sub-factors of each of the area. Acquisition strategy. The section describes the acquisition strategy, including the type of the contract, fixed firm price, cost plus fixed fee, cost plus award fee, any incentive arrangement, the special requirements, schedule events, outline of events and target dates for the major activities in the source selection process leading to the contracting award. Non-governmental advisories. Identify any of the non-government advisors who will participate in source selection process, including the role and responsibility in the participation. D. Establishing evaluation factors. One of the most significant responsibilities of the technical evaluation team is to establish basic technical evaluation, including the development of relatively important evaluation criteria. The information submitted as part of the source selection plan. One of the source selection plan is approved by the source selection authority. The technical evaluation team has the specific language of the section M for the request for proposal. Prepare the forms for the evaluation proposal. Prepare guidance for the documents to assist the evaluators of evaluating proposal. When establishing evaluation factors, consider the following: Area 1, technical evaluation factor 1, construction team experience, factor 2, design team experience, chapter 3, management plan, section 4, factor 4, schedule, factor 5, other technical requirement as needed, area 2, cost price evaluated but not rated, area 3, past performance evaluated but not rated. Clearly state evaluation factors as far as 15605E requires the evaluation factors any significant subparts described in source selection plan, clearly stated with the solicitation. See the appendix 48 FARS 15605E for extracting FARS 1605E with the relative importance of the factors. Some factors must be stated. Price cost is always considered with the evaluation factor, although it is not part of the rating score process. Factors should be relevant. The elevation factors should be directly related to the specific acquisition. Should be constructed to highlight the strength and weakness, the risk of each of the proposal. A reasonable starting point of development and elevation factors. Review the statement of the work of the research of the factors used in any other acquisition similar account. Also, with the talk with the request for proposal, architectural engineer discovered. With the factors and the belief that are most relevant, the following are more generally guidelines characteristics considered developing evaluation factors. Consistent. Technical evaluation factors must agree with the statement of work and specification, limited in number of the tendency to develop too many evaluation factors and sub-factors. The large number of the factors will dilute the importance of most of the significant factors. Independent selecting evaluation factors that do not overlap with one another. Relevant. The evaluation factors should particularly relevant to the specific acquisition. Available. One evaluation factor should be not used if not expected to be between offers. Measures of factors must be measurable to be used the most quantitative quality measure of valid. This criteria is the descending order of the evaluation criteria, including the source selection plan, are listed with the descending order of the importance and will be set forth the verbatim solicitation. Choose the words carefully. No compliance with something should be provided with does not constitute a deficiency. Rather than should when discussing evaluation factors. Appointment letters. The source selection authority team will select the chairperson to oversee the efforts of the source selection evaluation team, the contracting evaluation team, the technical evaluation team. The source selection authority appoints members from the respective teams. The Air Force program manager for the draft the appointment letters, the source selection authority approval letter and signature, appendix 22, the board amendment letter, and appendix 47, the appointment letter to the source selection team, evaluation team sample. For example, the appointment letters. F. Approving source selection plan plan. The chairperson of the source selection evaluation team recommends the source of selection for the approval of the source selection authority, with the recommendation of the being written with one of the format per source selection authority. However, in either the case, the source selection authority must disapprove of the source selection plan by the signature. Subsequently, the source selection authority must review the approve of the source selection plan before the request for proposal is issued with potential officers. G. Training evaluation team members. The chairperson of the source selection evaluation team must ensure that the source selection evaluation team, technical evaluation control, and contracting evaluation team advisors must probably be trained. Areas that should be covered at a minimum code of conduct from the evaluation criteria, the evaluation procedure, source selection merit plan, conflict of interest. Suggests that the teams provide examples of acceptable and unacceptable write-ups showing the legal evaluation contracting committees deemed acceptable. 17. Source selection and process in a single phase. Introduction and checklist. The Air Force has established the process of selecting, design, building, contract through a single-phase source of the selection process. The objective of the process of selection of the team to provide for the base of the value of the Air Force of the environment of the fair and of the open competition. The Air Force has streamlined acquisition process for the design, building process. Projects at the cost of less than $500 million. The process defined in more detail with the Air Force far supplemented with the Appendix BB. This process will be established a little side with the cost to prepare the proposal as well as the time required to review them. The source selection process begins with the receipt of the proposal officers, and the basic flow of the source selection process shown in Figure 8.2 of the source selection checklist is provided in 8.6. Alright, source selection process diagram, single phase design, building, acquisitions, receive and log in proposal, prepare evaluation meeting, evaluate the proposal, write clarification request, deficiency report, technical evaluation report, and to determine a competitive range, which goes into oral clarification reports and deficiency report, with a new competitive range going back to when it's confirmative, it goes back to determinative competitive range, and to notifying competitive ranges. If the competitive range is no, the best final offer submitted the evaluated proposed analyst report selected design, build, the contract, or an awarded contractor. If the clarification request deficiency reports are not required for the firm considered to provide with the best value of the Air Force, the process can be given. Go directly to evaluate the proposal, select design, building, contract, and technical evaluation report phases, including the proposal analysis report and preparation in accordance with the table 8.6. Your source selection checklist and single phase design, building, and acquisition. 1. Receive proposal contracting officer. 2. Log in proposal contracting officer. 3. Preparing evaluation meeting, source selection evaluation team. Evaluating proposal, source evaluation team, contracting evaluation team, technical evaluation team. Preparing clarification, requesting deficiency report, source selection evaluation, contracting evaluation, technical evaluation team, technical evaluation report, contracting evaluation, technical evaluation team. Determining competitive range, contracting officer, and then these 8 through 11, notifying officers outside competitive range, oral written discussions of officers in competitive range, request for best final officer, receiving best final officer, contracting officer. 12, evaluate the best and final officer, contracting evaluation team, technical evaluation team, and 14 through 16, the proposal analyst report, brief source selection authority, decision documentation, and seeking authority. Wait again. 13 and 14, proposal analyst report, brief support, selection authority, source selection evaluation team, decision documentation, and seeking authority to award, source selection authority. 17 and 18, congressional notification, awarded notification, contracting officer. Alright, basic source of selection organization chart. Your source selection authority goes into source selection evaluation team on the side with advisors, and then it goes into a splits between technical evaluation team, contracting evaluation team for the performance analysis, performance risk analysis. Most of the participants involved with the request for proposal preparation for remaining involved during the evaluation, selection, and award process. During the source selection process, the preparation of the technical and contracting evaluation team is greatly increased. The Air Force Program Manager, once if the Air Force Program Manager participates in the technical evaluation team chairperson, the Air Force Program considerable experience with the technical evaluator before you the specific responsibility position, understanding the Air Force Program responsibility. In addition, during the proposal evaluation, selection, and award phase, Air Force Program Manager generally participates in discussion with the held officers, assured the authority to award and funding the packages to be forwarded to higher headquarters at this action. Requesting for funding of the Major Com in the headquarters of the U.S. Army Engineering, Air Force Engineering Construction Corps, Special Authority of the Major Com, Air Force Air Engineering Corps. Contracting officer during the proposal evaluation, selection, award phase. Contracting officer serve as the sole point of the contact between the officers and the government. Issue with the required amendment to the request for proposal. Receive the perform initial screening with the proposal request with the pre-awarded surveys and audit appropriate normal chairman of the contracting evaluation team that establishes competitive range between the technical evaluation report, contracting report, discussion with the source selection evaluation team members to release the letters to officers outside the competitive range of the currently with the release of clarification request deficiency report. Officers with the competitive range receive the response to the clarification request deficiency report. Ensure the government responsibility evaluation will remain inconsistent with consistent with all the discussions, conduct, or written discussion. Officers schedule the contracting calls with the officers' competitive range with required, ensuring the meeting minutes are taken during documented all conference with the officers at any stage. Issue letters to the officers of the competitive range with requesting the best and final officer, requesting to receive the best and final offer, provide assessment for the likelihood and award source selection authority, ensure the business required clearance obtained with sending the information to SAF LLP as necessary, notify the successful offerers and issue the contract, notify unsuccessful officers, conduct briefings with the officer's request, conduct pre-construction conference with a successful design building team. Source selection authority during the proposal evaluation selection awarding process. Source selection authority to approve of the contracting officer's competitive range determination that this action may be delegated with the source selection evaluation team. Exclusion for the competitive range of the action cannot be delegated to coordinate with the contracting officer's decision with request reiterative call for the best of the final offer. Select the officer provided with the best value of the government documentation discussion decision proposal analysis report. See chart 4.2 for the clarification. Approve the proposal analyst report. Source selection evaluation team chairperson during the proposal evaluation source selection award phase. The source selection evaluation team chairperson conducts the pre-elevation for the meeting with the source of selection evaluation team member to distribute the proposal for the elevator. Reviews the contracting officer competitive range determination provided with the comment back to the selection source authority. Brief the proposal deficiency source selection authority if awarded without made decision. And in conjunction with the contracting officer, review the approval of the clarification request deficiency report issued with the source selection authority with the finding of the source selection evaluator team and the source of the selection authority in preparation for the proposal analysis report. Provide the recommendation for the contracting award if requested for the source selection authority. Ensure the proposal analysis report prepared for the source selection authority signature. Ensure all of the source selection evaluation teams members execute source selection information briefing certificate. Appendix 49 source selection information briefing certificate sample. Evaluate the forms of contracted debriefing. Source selection evaluation team during the proposal evaluation selection and award phase. The source selection evaluation team evaluates the evaluation guidebook, evaluates each of the proposal clarification request deficiency report best and final offer against the solicitation. Brief the source selection authority and source selection evaluation team chairperson as requested. Prepares a proposal analysis report for the submittal of the source selection evaluation team chairperson. Technical evaluation team during the proposal evaluation selection award phase. The technical evaluation team performs a technical evaluation, evaluates either the proposal against the evaluation criteria outlined with the request for proposal, documented weaknesses, strong point. All the prepares the clarification request with the deficiency report that is necessary to seek clarification, identifies the deficiency, prepare the clarification request, deficiency report, and supporting the documentation of joint reviews. And each of the individual members of the evaluation arrive at the consolidated team evaluation of each of the members. Offer to prepare the forward of the technical evaluation report, source selection evaluation team chairperson evaluate the responsible clarification request, the deficiency report, evaluate the best and final offer, to update the technical evaluation report, completion of the best and final offer. Contract evaluation term during the proposal of the evaluation selection award phase. The contracting evaluation team performs the cost analysis, cost or price analysis of each of the proposal and prepares the report of the findings of the price report. Findings of the such include the factors such as responsibility, completeness, realism, IWFRs, Subappendix BB, prepares clarification request, deficiency report with the evaluated response from the officers, update with the cost and price analysis report, performs the risk analysis program. Risk analysis group, performance risk analysis group. Performance risk analysis group will assist the performance risk with respect to the cost analysis, cost and specific evaluation criteria to generate with clarification requests. Many of the performance data gathered in contradictory, unclear, that could lead to the moderate on high risk assessment and prepare appropriate documentation for the performance risk analysis group analysis as part of the proper analysis report. C. The request receipt proposal. Proposal should be due the pre-designated time of the specific government office of the DA, with the request for the proposal late. With proposals must be considered only extremely limited circumstances. Design should allow the time for the proposal date stamped and logged before the close of the business. If all the possible, include the street address rather than the building number. The shop location is the middle of the process. Proposal in good practice. Log with the proposal date of the mailing, filing, and delivery. Logging the time of the day of the government received. Each of the proposal notifying the proposal was on time will be considered for award, and retaining the envelope wrapper with the evidence for the date of the mailing. Once the proposal will have logged into the contract, you should validate with each of the proposal solicitation format contact requirements. References to the price should be eliminated with the technical management selection proposals are then forwarded to the source selection evaluation team. Chairperson pre-awarded surveys may be requested for the contracting officer. Pre-awarded surveys contracting previous performance with government contracts. The next major and evaluated with all the proposals have been submitted, but there are serious steps involved with this effort. D. The evaluation pre-evaluation meeting. It's a good idea to have the evaluators cross-reference comments with specific paragraph of the proposal drawings with respect to the requirements request for proposal. The resource selection evaluation team chairperson is responsible for providing the specific instruction members of the evaluation team before the proposal be distributed with the instructions should be provided with formal written manner. Although the instruction will vary for the nature of solicitation, the guidance provided should include the statement of the responsibility of evaluators, including responsibility safeguard data, cautions against disclosure, source selection, sensitive information, anyone clearing complete guidance, evaluation, technical costs, past performance management proposal. This includes review, evaluation factors, discussion, evaluation standards being used, review of the technical evaluation forms, evaluation process, state of the technical acceptability merit must be based solely on the requirements outlined with the request proposal. Requirements of the evaluator facility support with the determination of the conclusion, caution against any of the comparison of the products. Evaluation process. The prospective officers support the proposal response to the single-phase design build solicitation 3 volumes. Volume 1 price. Volume 2 past performance. Volume 3 technical proposal. The request for proposal reaches the office to submit the single proposal evaluation source evaluation aim establishes the cost evaluation teams evaluates the cost proposal to determine whether the proposal is fair and responsible. The second team evaluates the past performance factor. The technical evaluation evaluates each of the technical proposal rating assigned with the proposal as if required with the clarification request. The deficiency report are issued with each of the officers' proposal. No clarification request. Deficiency report in the contract may be awarded without further discussion. Rather, with the clarification request, the deficiency report are issued with the best and final officer's request. An award cannot be made to an officer's deficiency. The award is made to the officer with the best value provided with the government's technical cost evaluation performed is independent with the technical contracting teams. Technical evaluation team should not have the access to the cost, the price, and information at any time prior to the decision briefing unless approved with the source of selection. F. The Air Force Evaluation System Overview. The Air Force established with the color-coded evaluation system scoring proposals against the evaluation standard. The objective system determining whether the proposal meet the government requirements when using the approach that the evaluators must complete with the evaluation worksheet, which provides justification over each of the rating with the color ratings described in blue. Is exceptional, exceeds specified performance capability, beneficial with the way Air Force has no significant weakness. Green, acceptable, meets evaluation standards. Any significant weaknesses are readily corrected. Yellow, marginal to meet the evaluation standards, however, any significant weaknesses are uncorrectable. And red, unacceptable, fails the minimum requirements for request for proposal. Deficiencies are correctable without major revisions of proposal. Using the numeral weights allowed with the Air Force contracting actions involved with the source selection as part of the proposal review process, its technical team should identify with the risk of potential each of the proposal with adjacent with the definitions that go below each of the evaluation factors. Sub-factors should be judged against the two assessments criteria sound approaches that are understanding the requirements. In addition, with each of the evaluation factors, sub-factors have the proposal risk assessment assigned. The following definitions be used. H. High. Likely to cause significant serious disruption. Schedule will increase the cost degradation for the performance as well as the contractor. Emphasis close government monitoring. Moderate M can potentially cause disruption. Schedule will increase the cost of degradation of the performance. However, the special contractor emphasizes the government monitoring will probably be able to overcome the difficulties. L. Or low. Has little potential cause the disruption. Schedule increase the cost of the degradation performance. Normal contractor effort and normal government monitoring will probably be able to overcome difficulties. The technical contracting evaluation team should share information on the risk associated with the aspects of offer's proposal, include the unreasonable low in price that may be suggested, reduced level of service and quality. Offer's technical approach may be experimental, indicative of the likelihood of completion without the change of the origin, and is unlikely. The evaluation technical management proposal shall be based on the criteria including the request for proposal source selection, although the award may be made without requesting clarification. The evaluation process normally requests the discussion and submitting with the best final offer. The evaluator is responsible for determining how the offer's proposed final fails to meet exceed the evaluation criteria. The rating of each of the prize proposals documented using the technical evaluation form. The proposals are not compared with against one or another, only to be the evaluation standards. The teams will clarify the clarification standards deficiency report for each of the proposal clarification deficiency reported to each of other competitive range with the appropriate resources. Request for the best of the final offer provided with the offer the wrong with the complete set of clarification deficiencies as see Appendix 50-51 for the example of the clarification request deficiency report following. Other requests for the best final offer the proposal will be reevaluated. Second best final offer available, however, is not advisable and adds significant time to the selection process. To request the second best or final offer requires the approval of the head of contracting agency, likely will be the major com. G. Competitive range determination. THARS 15609 provides guidance regarding the competitive range determination. The competitive range should include only those firms which have the reasonable chance for being awarded with the project. While in determination, the proposal should include the consideration given the clarification request, deficiency report, and the cause and the response for clarification request and deficiency report may make a proposal activity to the government. The proposal should be considered. The proposal does not have the responsible change or receiving the award should not be included, whether in doubt with the error on the side of included with the proposal. The competitive range of the determination is made with the contracting officer, not sort of the selection officer authority, although the elimination officer authority, the competitive range subjects the authority with the source selection authority. When they establish the competitive range, the contracting officer should not restrict the number of the proposals to the point when the competition is limited. Protests have been resulted with the key authority of the competitive range when they have not been had no chance of winning. Officers outside of the competitive range should be notified promptly with the writing notification accomplished with the concurrent with the clarification request and deficiency report. The purpose of the notification is to inform them that they are no longer being considered. This is also prevents them from spending any additional time and money related to the project. Or written discussion with officers of competitive range should be conducted to allow the officers the opportunity to provide clarification, correction, deficiency within the proposal. This discussion are outlined in FARS 15-16-61. 0 should be conducted with the contracting officer. The purpose of discussion is to ensure the officers understand the objective of the government requirements, ensure the Air Force evaluators understand the officer's proposal, explain the ambiguities and respond to identifying deficiency of the officer's proposal, discuss the proposal price and cost elements for the unclear and unreasonable. During these discussions, the government must avoid technical leveling and technical transfusion and auctioneering. See definition below. It is all advisable to conduct discussion in writing an oral decision or held on one of the government representatives should be carefully taken the minutes daily discussion. During the discussion, the government must clearly identify the deficiency described and why each item is a deficiency that must be accomplished by the government. It does not suggest that the offer might take corrective action. Technical leveling is a coaching and offering how to make become more competitive with improving the proposal. Technical transfusion occurs when the government discloses the technical information pertaining to the proposal, requesting improving the competition. Competing proposal action here referred to the situation government advisory offer at the price standing relative to the offers. The offers are allowed to modify the proposal in order to remedy the deficiencies as a result of the decision. Offers may be excluded with the competitive range subject to determination source selective authority. Other decisions are complete with the government will request the best and final offer to the offerings remaining in the competitive range. When the best and final offer is required, the officers will have the opportunity to modify the aspect of the proposal because of the offer. Modify the technical approach. The technical evaluators must evaluate the best final offer to use the same factors which will include the original request for proposal. It may be a good idea to limit the number of the pages best final or from submittal. In fact, the good idea of the limited number of the additional pages section following which follow on the best final and offer submitted. H. Proposal analysis report. The source and selection evaluation team must be a proposal analysis report brief. Selection authority. The source selection authority must provide the sufficient in-depth information on each of the competing officers' proposal to meet responding rational selection decision. The proposal analyst report summarizes the strength, weakness, and risk of each of the proposal source. The source evaluation team based on the officer's scoring. The risk report includes the information proposal analysis report outlined in Table 8.7. Your Table 8-7 proposal analysis report, introduction, funding, and information concerning with the source of selection action. B, the source of selection planning. C, the review, basis award of evaluation criteria. D, the composition, source selection evaluation team, names, organization, specialties. D, the requirement solicitation. Three, the designing description of proposal, significant, unique attributes to proposal, competitive range. 4, comparative technical risk analysis assessment, specific criteria against evaluation standard, comparative analysis, proposal performance risk, identifying strength and weakness, evaluation risk area, list of factors evaluated, overall impact, significant risk associated with each proposal, technical risk, schedule risk against the technical approach, the confidence placed on the cost estimate, financial risk, production risk, designing trade-offs and contract product performance risk. 5, comparative cost analysis, address responsibility, realism, completeness, speed, track cost of the initiative, best final offer. C, overall price and cost analysis. 6, general consideration, significant contract agreements, significant contract difference between offers. 7, source selection evaluation team findings, comparative analyst experience with brief statements, considered source selection evaluation team to be significant, recommendation if requested source selection authority. Alright, following the briefing of the source selection evaluation team with the chairperson is submitted with the proposal analysis report, the source selection authority must be selection offer. Sign the proposal analysis report. Proposal analysis report should include a minimum of the brief description of the procurement name of the authoring submitted the proposal selection decision, rational, including the decision beneficial in the government, especially with the higher price offer selected with the source selection evaluation team chairperson, legal counsel normally support the selection source selection authority with the preparation of the proper analysis report. And I, the source selection is delegated with the authority to award the design, building, following selections. Example, offer, contracting officer provided with the delegated authority. Contractors greater than $5 million. The source selection authority must notify the headquarters of U.S. Army Air Force Engineering Corps, which will then turn and notify the Office of Legislative Liaison intent of the award of successful offer. Alright, 17, source of selection process for two-phase design, building, procurements, introduction checklist. In addition to single-phase design procurement, the Air Force has established the processing to selecting design, building contracts. Have been two-phase source selection process. The objective of the process is to select the team provided with the best value. Air Force environmental fair, or the other open competition with the causing prospective officers spending excessive funding is upfront with the proposal extension of the price of the very similar with the single-phase process exemption shown below. Source selection process beginning with the receipt of the phase 1 proposal. Officer, the basic flow source selection is noted below. Your source selection diagram, two-phase buildings, acquisition, received, login, proposal, pre-evaluation, meeting evaluation, proposal, technical evaluation report into a determining a greater than 1, but greater than 5 high qualified offers, which goes into request two-phase technical proposals, receiving, logging, proposal, pre-evaluation, meeting, evaluating proposals, written clarification, and technical evaluation report, or you could have went from determining greater than 1 and 5 highest qualified offers to notifying offers selected in the continue phase, which eventually rates the determinative competitive range with oral discussion, clarification, requests, and deficiencies. New competitive range, yes or no's, and best and final offers submitted, evaluated, proposal analysis report, selected design, builder, and contracting awarded contract. If the clarification and deficiency reports are not required for the firm to consideration to provide best value, Air Force can go directly to evaluated proposal, select design, building, contracting, developing the evaluation report phase, including the proposal analysis report preparation in accordance with table 8-7. Receiving and logging proposal, contracting officer, pre-evaluation meeting, source selection evaluation team, evaluating process, preparing clarification request, deficiency report, technical evaluation team report, technical evaluation team, determining greater than 1, less than 5 high qualified officers, and notifying officer and not invited in phase 2, invite highest qualified officers to submit phase 2 proposal, receive proposal, login proposal, contracting officer. Or your pre-evaluation meeting as a source selection evaluation team, evaluating proposal, source evaluation team, contracting evaluation team, technical evaluation team, and also preparing a clarification requesting deficiency of reports. Then it goes into technical evaluation report with the contracting evaluation, technical evaluation team, And then determining competitive range, notifying officers outside competitive range, oral written discussion, offers in competitive range, request bid for final offer, receive bid best and final offer, contracting officer. 12. Evaluating contractor offer, evaluation team, and proposal analysis, report, source evaluation team, brief source selection of the source selection evaluation team. 15 and 16, decision documentation, seek authority to award, and source selection authority, and congressional notification awarding contracting officer. B. Involved with the two-phase source selection process. The participant is responsible for the request for proposal preparation for the two-step process are same as shown in the same single-phase process. C. Receipt with the sequence of events with the receipt of the proposal remains the same as the both single-phase and two-phase design requirements, but the two-phase proposals are received and logged in with the twice contracting officer only invited with the submitted with the second phase with the final proposal showing the design associated with the cost. D. Pre-event evaluation meeting. Officer should conduct a pre-evaluation meeting previously described in single-phase procurement documentation or process. Evaluating process, evaluating the two procurement of the steps in the two phases of the phase one proposal evaluated on the two technical approach, technical qualification to include specialized experience, technical competency, capability, performing and passing performance, and other important factors of the phase one evaluation process results in a short list of officers who are then invited with the phase two technical design costs and principal per proposal, final evaluation selection. Example of the phase two evaluation factors, design concept management, the approach key personnel, proposed technical solution, phase 1, delineated FARs 3630, phase 3, phase 2, delineated FARs 215. Phase 1, evaluated, determine highest qualified characters greater than 1 but less than 5. Volume 1, management technical proposal. Volume 2, final proposal. Phase 2, Volume 1, preliminary design proposal. Volume 2, cost and price proposal, subcontracting plan. Alright, Air Force evaluation. The Air Force evaluation is the same, or both the same, single phase, the two phase. Design, building, procurement method. G, competitive range. As far as 15609 provides the guidance regarding the competitive range determination. Competitive range should only the firms which are reasonable change with being awarded the project with the single phase, the two phase, design, build, procurement. The process determining competitive range is design above the single phase. The page of the proposal analysis. The source selection evaluation team must prepare the proposal analysis report with the two phase procurement in the same format above the single phase. The I authority to request required funding and award. The source selection is delegated authority to design, building, contracting, awarding, selection, success of owner. Other contracting officer provide delegation authority to the contracting greater than $5 million. Source selection authority notifying headquarters, U.S. Army, Air Force, Engineering Corps will turn notify Office of Legislation liaison intending to award success for officer. And this goes on and on and on, like. Let's continue. 9. Source of selection forms to both single and double phase design. Through the process of the scoring proposal, the technical evaluator is responsible for completing several internal record documentation. These forms are documented with the evaluation provided with the audit trail. The decision-making process. The contracting officer may require weak points, documentation, deficiency report. The officer has the right to know the impact of weakness affecting the potential award through the issuance of clarification request and deficiency report. And this report forms include clarification requests are prepared with the selection of proposals not clear with enough to enable the fair of the complete evaluation of officers' capability, insufficient definition appropriate, consistent with the proposal, inadequate substation. The example of the reason for the generate the clarification request for the offer for an offer. The clarification request prepared with the manner which does not lead to the offer to the specific preferred, but probably with must clarify enough to secure the corrective action. Clarification request must contain a reference to the statement of the work paragraph which requires the tasking sufficient number of the clarification request applied to the particular number item in the area. Consider whether or not the issue of the deficiency report is appropriately indicated lack of understanding the soundness of the approach or failure to meet the contact requirement of the clarification request will be approved by the team of the chief of the source selection evaluation team of the contracting officer before the release of the offer approved by the clarification request will be logged in the tracked until the final disposition. The deficiency report prepared by the officer's proposal fails to meet the requirement of the request proposal should include the weakness significant in the if the result of the rating lower than accepted, the risk rating above the level lower than must identify the facility wrong insight specific reference in the request proposal and the proposal. The evaluator will set the deficiency correct with the potential of the offer to eliminate deficiency. The deficiency report will be prepared with a manner which does not exceed the officer's specific referred to the reply in the total number of the deficiency report, the specific seriousness justifying excluding the officer's competitive range. Deficiency report items need to be discussed and evaluated for the area of the item to ensure that the deficiency validated each of the time item has been stated before they are approved. All deficiency reports are approved by the team chief at the source evaluation, team chairperson, the contracting officer before the release of the offer. The approved deficiency report will be logged and tracked until the final disposition. Interior area information transfer. The use will transfer information from one group of the elevators to another. Technical information which may be affect the price evaluation. Frequently, the requests are verbal. They must be documented in some fashion. Strong or weak points of the proposal may be established to explain the particular strong and weak points of the proposal. Strong points, useful documentation are limited to the proposal for the access to the standard in terms of performance capability. Those that has justified blue-collar code with low risk of evaluation. Weak points document the elements of the proposal that do not meet the evaluation standards or serve to identify the increase of the risk. Risk assessment. The following two risk assessments will be accomplished. Proposal risk. The government will conduct a proposal risk assessment with the officer's proposed approach to accomplish the requirements. Performance risk. The government will conduct a performance risk assessment based on the officer's relevant past and present performance. Assessing with the risk. The government will use the performance data to evaluate the areas listed included with the cost area conducting with the performance risk assessment. The government will use it to provide with the offered and past present performance volume as well as the data obtained from the other sources. The evaluation narratives worksheets provide evaluation for the proposal narrative form. The narrative must be a minimum to be completed with the active factor communication with sub-factor level. Technical evaluation report is prepared with the documentation evaluation process. The technical evaluation to discuss each of the proposal competently with the consolidation. Evaluation form is each of the officers support the proposal analysis report. The team the recommendation of the source evaluation team, source selection authority, contracting officer through the preparation of the technical evaluation report indicated. Identified those officers which propose to clarify do not meet the government minimum standards outlined in the request proposal. Identify the officers who propose that do meet the government's minimum technical proposal of the request proposal. Identify the areas of the offers may have exceeded the government's technical standards as outlined with the request proposal. Document deficiencies of the request for the proposal. Identify the clarification deficiency of the first proposal. Access the risk has factors. Technical evaluation report will be revised following the discussion. Best final offer the final technical evaluation. Upon the completion of the final evaluation, technical evaluation will use the source selection evaluation team in the preparation of the proposed and the analysis report. The contracting evaluation team is responsible for conducting price evaluation, past performance assessment. The proposal to determine the completeness, responsibility, realism, price. The government may use only several approaches for conducting the price evaluation, competitive price evaluation, price proposal. Among the competitors have used one of the most effective means of evaluating the proposal prepared at the same time identical scope. The prior proposing information using the prior proposal can be evaluated compared to the price of information prior to procurement documentation. When it is done, must be the economic factors of the size of the type of the project. Alright, independent estimates prepared by the request for proposal, architecture, engineer, government technical representative provided with the unbiased baseline to compare the against the offer's bid. The contractor evaluation team that performing the price evaluation may request for technical support during the price proposal evaluation. They should discuss the detail of the technical evaluation. Technical evaluators may generally discuss specific elements to aid the cost evaluation. Following the analyst and the cost contracting evaluation must be a report with including the cost analysis or selection team preparing the proposal analyst before the briefing the source selection authority. 20. Design and construction. Alright, design and construction overview. The normal design project will progress with this fast track of the design bid build. Design activity, the construction efforts may occur with the substantially ongoing simultaneously depending on the wording of the request for proposal. What may be allowed with the contracting officer during the design portion of the design building contract to provide with the management challenge for the Air Force program and to keep all the government activities aligned to process the request for the information rapidly, respond to the design construction material submitted with the expended with the material manner as project that has not been held up the basic because of the untimely Air Force action of the government may cause a delay in the design and may impact the construction schedule, resulting in any overhead costs. The Air Force program manager must adapt the engineering design project with the planning for the construction project. The Air Force project management program manager must also design contracting in progress. According to the comprehensive schedule, the Air Force program manager should ensure the typically design review of the commands provided with the design, building contractor. However, the critical of the project per design consideration not overlook the Air Force program manager's costs is not taking an unnecessary amount of the time reviewing the design, such as the adverse impact of the construction activities. There is, and in fact, thousands of the details must be followed through the entire process to coordinate with the design, building contractor, the user, and the responsibility of the request for repair. Also, architectural engineer may stop at the top of the details. The Air Force program manager enhance the probability of success. The overall object provide for the quality of the facility for the user and on the time within the budget. The section is divided in three major parts: the design and construction warranty, and the topic addressed the sequence in each of the sections. However, the numerous activities design and construction could all occur simultaneously. As important by the Air Force program manager, they understand the integration of design, building, design, construction activity checklist design with the construction provided with the table. The first six are Air Force project manager. They perform the action or performance conference, pre-design, design review, the request for information, cost saving, project meetings, and pre-construction meetings. Notice to proceed by the contracting officer, inspection, construction, surveillance, Air Force project manager, the construction modification contracting officer, Air Force project manager, and the 10 through 13 operating maintenance training, pre-final, final sections, DoD Form 1354, real estate record and warranty, Air Force project manager. Prepare the conferencing and contracting notice of the proceed. The initial meeting with the government and project team, the representative of the request for proposal, architectural engineer, design, building contractor. The primary purpose is to discuss the requirements of the design schedule, resolve any design possibility schedule to be required, the additional clarification beyond the information provided with the request for proposal, specify the emphasis that should be in place with the process based on the process of the design building team, but they identified the suggestions, recommended substitutions, deviations additional to the tone and direction of the rest of the design build efforts to be established. And it is critical that only the necessary people attend without the including that it might be intended. Only the courtesy of the educational purposes essential for the user to present and clarify any of the functional requirements of the government participants should be cautioned to the conference. It's not in the time to identify the change of the design, whether then they should be discussed with the government only, but the meeting the post meeting of the government only meeting with the before the pre-performance. Consider conferencing is especially important for the design build project to ensure the user understanding the limited clarification to be discussed. Pre-performance conference is not typically design building pre-design conference where new ideas can be addressed. Since this is the first time with the design building team of the government on the fast track project, it may be necessary to discuss some of the issues typically held with the construction conference and shall permit with the vehicle details certified the field insight and investigation may need to be addressed with the pre-performance conference. Submittal schedule of the procedure should be reviewed to make sure that all the parties understand the exact details, dates, and anticipated turnaround of time frames of the review of the request of the information procedure. How suggesting the cost of having the pseudo value engineering will be handled such should be discussed. C, the design review site design 100%, facility design 50%. The critical design point is at this point of the process, the government may allow the design builder contractor to start the construction of the facility. One of the design review the complete with the portion of the design is approved. If the Air Force program is the design review team must be ensured the design is being accomplished according with the request for proposal. Move the needs for the user since the request for proposal must be made as a part of the design build contract documentation. The request for the proposal and the request for proposal become a baseline for the design. The design review team evaluates compliance with acceptable submitted with the call with the request for the proposal and the request for proposal. And generally, the functional review is accomplished during the development of the request for proposal. Therefore, the design review there should be focused on the compliance with deviation, substitution, result of the change of the design or made with the variative requirements of the proposal at the request for proposal in the portion. And it is important to evaluate the change for the impact of the operability, maintainability, functionality of the facility. For example, the design, building, architectural engineering, changing of the column size of the column location and could impact on the user basic requirements for the space. Sometimes the designer, builder, contractor will try to speed up the reviews and flood the government with submittal of the Air Force program manager. It is the contracting officer that the government review the completed with the specified with the contractor before allowing the designer builder to proceed. However, in the spirit of the partnering, getting the job done, the Air Force program manager may agree to speed up the review process and hold decide to allow the interim partial submitted to increase the review the burden existing staff with the request for proposal and architecture and engineering. The basic design actions required with the designing building project. The designing building contractor are not very much different from the design building project. The project progress plays at the level of detail. However, the different design building team designs a specific brand name. The system may be submit shop drawings approval at the same time design specifications are submitted. One of the major pitfalls may be the failure to meet the place and pace of the progress in design building bid contract design activities essential for the Air Force program manager to stay on top of the design process, ensure the design comments approval are returned for the design coordinating with the contracting schedule. The Air Force program manager should be sure that the staff reviewing the design understand the local building codes, designing building process requirements of the request proposal. The Air Force program manager may want to use the request proposal architectural engineers support design review process, especially reviewing compliance with the codes and performance requirements. In many of the cases, the government designer may not be well versed in local building codes. Request proposal architectural engineer review the design and compliance with the request proposal local codes. However, the design builder is ultimately responsible for the compliance with the codes, regardless of who reviewed the design, whether it was not reviewed or not. The design submittal should be in compliance with the award proposal. The request proposal. The request proposal should specify the format, size, and scales. Various design submittals. However, the design building contractor may have the subcontractor develop the design details submitted with to the building designer with review billing submitted with the Air Force. Therefore, these possibilities submittal with the formats or the requiring drawings could differ in size. The size quality the Air Force program should not accept the submittal of the request for proposal requirements and not are met with responsibility credit with being received. Normally, construction can begin once the building designing builder contractor has been only the change identified with the government design review. However, the design builder contractor may be allowed to proceed with the construction while clarification and administrative comments are being incorporated in the design. The revision can be approved with partial resubmittals. At this point, the management of the design building project becomes complicated as the Air Force program manager must now design efforts as well as to manage constructive activities. 100% of the site design is approved. The contracting officer had a notice to proceed with the beginning of the construction for the site work up to the foundation finishing floor may be provided with the contracting being constructed with the cut fill with undergrounding for utilities, pipe of the drilling. And this notice proceeding is not it's not the one with defining the contracting performance. It's only with the office notice of the proceed with the contracting provided with the prior to any with work designing of the construction on project beginnings with the secondary notice to proceed with the site of the constructing approval only. The Air Force should not take longer than 14 to 21 days to provide a review of the comments of the designer. The minimum should comply with the time stated in the request for proposal. It is likely the design building team will want to submit the interim or other partial designs of approval, especially long-term items. The HAVOC or electrical equipment, special equipment in the Air Force allows the interim submittal of the important design builder contracts within the Air Force program, and they have good understanding how design submittals and the full partial submittals will be handled. The Air Force program manager should review the submittals as quickly as possible, but should not take longer for the review time identified the request for proposal. D. The request for information. Since the design, building, of the architectural engineering construction contractor are the same contractor, there should be significant fewer requests for the information than typical design building project. However, the architectural engineer is likely to have some question that may need to be clarified within the request for proposal. There may be cases the request for proposal architectural engineer will provide answers important for the Air Force program manager to respond with the design build contractor whether they will answer to the timely manner to adversely impact the design ultimately completion of the facility. During the design phase, the Air Force program manager will want to hold the information exchange of the meeting, the overall direction of the design verified with the question answered on the spot. Be sure the documentation of meeting the minutes was discussed. Alright, E, design review, facility design 100%. The Air Force program manager will assemble the government design review team the final design submitted with since the major functional design were made during the development request for a proposal. User role design review will focus on the compliance with the the request for proposal incorporation previous design review comment. The resulting improved design becomes parts of the design published contracting construction aligned with the reviews must be accomplished indicating the contract to prevent the shutdown of construction. The use of the request proposal architectural engineer design review has been successfully designed building projects. Upon approval of 100% of the design documents, the third notice for the received should issue the authorized design builder contractor to construct the remaining portion of the facility. If the 100% of the design is not approved due to the non-compliance with the contract, must be resubmitted with the constructing performance times being adjusted. The design building contractor must resubmit and simply originally contracting award completion time. All right, during the design review conference, the final design decision should be made to ensure the construction continuing schedule. Air Force program management required the design documentation from the CAD files. If required, provided with the corresponding request for proposal. The original cost estimate should be updated with the time of the support of the historical data, tracking cost growth and provided from the validation programmatic cost requirements. If deemed appropriate, do not let the deemed designer builder catch up with you in a corner by the arguing. The mechanical room must be larger than accommodated with the havoc equipment design builder contractor wants to buy. They should require with the request for personnel should state the mechanical room is to be size accommodated with at least 3 different mechanical manufacturer systems. However, the design building contractor decides to purchase equipment to result in the increase of the square footage is acceptable to approve of the layout of the chain of the design builder contractor expense. In addition to the contractor expense, the design builder contractor responsibility. The most successful design review conferences are held with the design builder contractor's primary design location that provides any of the access to all designers to make it easier to quicker to resolve the question conflicts. At the cost saving proposal pseudo value engineering. Because of the false fast track nature of the design building project, the normal value engineering process is not timely, though there has been extra interest government to the value engineering concept. The design process should be established by the design building contractor to submit the alternative substitution will reduce the cost, improve the schedule, improve the quality of the facility. Design builder contractor input the most evaluated expeditious Air Force program managers, installation staff, and engineering savings can be identified using the offset future or unforeseen adjustments and modifications. Air Force program manager shall establish a system with given a quicker yes or no response to the cost-saving items to avoid the costly submittals below little merit. All right, G, project meetings. The most valuable Air Force project meeting. Project manager is design construction after the design building project. The good system, the open communication. One of the tools of the program manager is develop the system, the work system that should be information for the project and problems focused on resolving the issues rapidly. The fast pace of the design building project decision elements of each of the meeting the critical. Problems cannot be resolved without adversely impacting the schedule, probably overall the cost of the project. Assuming the Air Force and the design agent and the typical Air Force program manager chair that participate are weekly coordinated meeting to track the design construction effort. This may not be feasible. The design team is not located near the installation. This should be focused on solving the problem, making a decision with the authority. Air Force program and the following the issues should be discussed. Request for the information, submittal logs, design schedule, construction status schedule, current problems, modification issues, cost saving, engineering issues, funding issues, 30-day forecast. A monthly project team, management team, meets and discuss the project status, funding the issues, design, construction schedules, other open modification actions, requests for RFIs and their age, issues the need for the resolved above the authority of the Air Force program and the norm of the Air Force only meeting. However, the design building contractor should be involved with the meeting of the meeting to foster intensive partnership. The design building contractor should present a 30-day forecast, address the issue concerning clarification schedule for the information government, quarterly executive review group meetings, ERG meetings, review the status of the product of the commanders and senior staff. Air Force program manager should advise them items discussed in monthly program management team meetings and the status most important getting resolution issues that can be only resolved in this group. Quarterly is required. The senior executive review group meetings to advise the wing commander, the major comm senior staff of the staff is of the project. The program. The problem exists but requires action. The Air Force program manager should get the decision during the meeting. The Air Force program manager staff the issues alternatives that are being addressed. Executive review group and the senior executive review group should be done earlier than so proper than can be made in the decision. Basic approach to design build and design bid building and design build is highlight responsibility, similarity, contrast, roles, responsibility, discussion when to be using design build, advantages to design build, designing build process, flow, selection, and request proposal, architectural engineering. Subsequent section to outline acquisition process, hirings, design, building team, and major steps in the process include project definition and request for proposal development, source selection, design, construction, technical portion of the request proposal, usually including the bid schedule, submittal requirements, evaluation criteria, evaluation standards. All right. 21. Construction of the design building. Most activities section on the going that concurrent with the discussed with the previous design section. As noted in earlier, the most critical construction effort will state once the government has reviewed the approved interior of the design support Submittal with the provides 100% of the site designing and 50% of the office facility designing. Of course, important, but they have enough facility design complete with the ensure proper foundation structure. The pre-construction conference. C, non-appropriated funded. Chapter 9. And this meeting is important, but even though the D&B contractors is given is doing the design meeting, the typical with the completion of the design review 100% of the site and 50% of the facility meeting with the construction business beginning is important, but the established local ground rules, especially with not specified with the contracting document, such as the current points of the contracting revised local conditions, other installations and agencies involved with the obstruction and construction material, equipment, and movement, and should be involved with the other, such as other flight section of civil engineering, safety, security, police, fire department, bioenvironmental. Air Force program managers should make sure that all the D&B contractors and questions are answered. The goals or meetings should be submitted. Mutual understanding among the designer, builder, and government, and it is important all the rules and goals and expectations are known by everyone in order to conflict conflict in order to minimize conflicts later. All right, B, written approval to proceed. The notice to proceed is issued to the pre-performance contract. Notice the first design submitted with is approved at the time of the start of the construction. Written approval to proceed with the on-site with the construction should be issued by the D&B contract with written, but should approve the restriction effort of only these portions of the design approved by the government. These construction activities be given ahead of the approved design. In case of the additional writing of the approval to proceed will be required to allow the D&B contractor to continue construction beyond limits of the established in the previous written approval. The written approvals to proceed should be issued as soon as the design review are complete with the approval of government. The construction design submittals must be integrated with this point with fast track ahead. Therefore, the Air Force program manager also in turn submittals. This will add existing load submittals with defined request proposal. Should ensure that the interim submittals allowed. The review actions will impact the ability to respond in a timely manner. C, inspection, construction, surveillance, design, building, construction. Construction inspection with the responsibility of D&B construction for the FARs 52.246. 12, the Air Force program and construction manager should perform the construction surveillance job site, off-site material storage area. The Air Force program manager will have the base construction management section done, but the surveillance, the Air Force program should periodically visit the site. All right, D. Since the design construction being accomplished, the same as the contract team, the use of the modification should be less for the type of the design building project. However, the unforeseen conditions, whether delays, any additional delations can be needed for the modification. The modification requires redesign, additional design request proposal, architectural engineer utilized preparing the same as the work government cost estimates with the D&B team prior to designing the change of the cost estimate accomplished modification is important. The impact of the modification will finally design completion of the facility on fast track. Schedule minor changes can have lower impact down to the railroad of the other project. The total cost impact of the base and both design and construction must be made clear up front. Total impact on the cost and schedule must be settled on. Each modification does not postpone discussion, construction, schedule impact. The funding process modification is the same as the design, building project. Operation, maintenance, training, and the design building projects. The facility constructed nearing completion. The Air Force program can ensure the operating maintenance manual system, the operating manuals, spare list parts as built with the publication description of the equipment obtained with the D&B contractor. All systems must be tested in accordance with the contracting documents. Typical based interest with the government operation maintenance of the fire protection personnel present during the various tests. And these people will best be responsible for the operating and maintaining of the system, although they may likely to identify potentially day problems with the system engineer. For the complicated system that is highly desirable for the videotape the contracting training session so they can be viewed later in the day for the new personnel. Pre-final and final inspection, design building criteria projects. The final inspection nearly the same as the design build project. The design build project. One of the differences of design build contractor cannot be claimed the design deficiency since the design builder contractor was designed with the builder. The punch list should be prepared during the pre-final inspection provided with the contractor so that the items can be corrected before the final inspection. Recommended the request for proposal. Architectural engineer involved with the pre-final and final inspection. Joint occupancies may be necessary if and it can be advantageous and can create new problems such as see previous section on joint occupancy. Once the Department of Defense Form 1354 transaction acceptance of military real property has been signed with the base civil engineer, the government has official accepted it and can occupy the facility. The beneficial occupancy date occurs before all the work is accomplished, but the design builder contractor of the Air Force program should take extra care that nothing is done to invalidate the construction warranty. Warranty, the D&B warranty. The D&B warranty should have less controversy with the design, bid, build project. The design build warranty provides the product with compliance with the performance standard with the request proposal. The architectural engineering record design build contractor has held with the professional standard with the care and the design facility. The design build contractor cannot claim design deficiencies. Any type of inadequate design in addition with the design build contractor is not construction facility design by an architectural engineer. The design builder contractor is producing a product, therefore product liability rather than architectural engineering liability applies. This means standards expectation of the design builder contractor are tighter than the design builder project than the design bid builder project. Design builder project, the entire facility is on warranty or is under warranty, not just various components of the facility. Warranty support the standard military construction. With the base civil engineer signed the Department of Defense Form 1354, the base office accepts the facility of the construction, accepting the responsibility documentation verify warranty of the noted using the checklist of the engineering technical letter of the Department D88-2. Base civil engineer advisory designate with the contracting officer when it have to the contractor can return correct any work under the warranty. The base civil engineer must also ensure the problems identify the warranty problem and not due to the abuse or lack of proper maintenance. Chapter 9, Non-Appropriated Funded Projects.